We know that being able to efficiently move through documents and select content is a critical word skill. We know there are several mouse and keyboard techniques to do so, and often they will be the fastest way to get what we need. In longer documents, though, this still means that we need to know where we want to be and what we want to do with our content. That can honestly sometimes be like looking for a needle in a haystack. If we think about trying to go specifically to 1 or 2 or 3 word phrases in a 120-page document, for example, you can see what I mean. Fortunately, Word 2010 has 2 things to help us in our quest. They're the new navigation pane and the enhanced search features. If you used Word in the past, you might have known about something called the document map. It basically was a panel on the left-hand side of the screen in which we could see document headings, kind of like our outline view, and be able to quickly navigate to document content using those headings. Word 2010 gives us the new navigation pane. We can access it from the View tab, so let's go ahead and do that. Just click up at the top, kind of in the middle of the screen to view. Click the little checkbox that says Navigation Pane to turn it on, and now we can see it over on the left-hand side of our screen. It lets us search, navigate, and rearrange our document. So let's take each of those in turn. First of all, we can also display the navigation pane either like we just did or pressing Control F, which is the keyboard shortcut for Find. Once we're here, we can see that it has kind of 3 tabs at the top. It has the headings, a thumbnail view, as well as the results for our search. Let's start off by selecting the first tab, which is our actual headings view. Using this pane, we can go ahead and move through our document by using the headings themselves. If I simply click on one of the headings in the pane, it will actually take me to that specific area in the document, making it very quick and easy to go through what I need. You'll see that there's this little triangle, which we're getting used to seeing in Office 2010. If it's angled down, that means something is expanded. If I click on it and it's sideways, that means that is now collapsed, so I'm not seeing any subtopics or subheadings. We can again collapse this all the way down to see just a very high-level view of our document, or we can expand them out to see details in areas that we're particularly interested in. If they don't have a triangle, then it means that is only one heading and there are no subheadings below it. In addition, we also can use these little up and down arrows on the upper right-hand corner to move up and down, from section to section, or heading to heading in this case. We can also see that the current location is going to be highlighted. We're not actually going to do it here, but if I press and hold my left mouse button and drag up or down, you'll see that I can actually move entire sections of content very simply by rearranging it here as well. Notice when I put it over itself, it doesn't give me an option to drop, so I'm just going to let it go, and we'll leave it organized the way that it originally was. This is perfect when we have a large amount of content that we want to move without having to try to go in and select it. For example, if it was multiple pages. Our second view is very similar, but this time instead of giving us just headings, it actually gives us a little thumbnail of the page. Now we can resize this entire pane. If we move over to its right corner, we get a double-headed arrow, and we can actually drag out to resize the window. However, when we resize it, it does not resize the size of the thumbnails. That's something that it just doesn't do. So it's not going to give us necessarily a larger view, just be able to see more pages. I like to keep mine fairly small so that I can see a majority of the side of it. By clicking on a page, it takes us to that particular page in the document. There are no right-click options though in this view. Now this view might be useful for more page layout types of documents, like maybe a newsletter or a flyer rather than a detailed text-based document like we have here, but it is an option and it is available if you want to use it. So we've kind of integrated a couple of things. We used to have the document map and a thumbnail pane in some of our prior versions, but the third thing that is integrated here, of course, is the Find feature. The old Find and Replace window is gone, and we actually see it here in this pane for a majority of what we're going to do. By simply typing a search word into the top of the screen, we can go ahead and find it. Let me go ahead and go to our third tab first so that we can see our search results. Then let me click where it says Search the Document, and let me see if I can find a particular word. Maybe what we're looking for is the word marketing, so I'm going to go ahead and start typing that. You'll notice that you do not have to type the entire word. It has that same search feature that is built into Windows 7 and the rest of Office 2010, so it will start narrowing it down the minute you start typing the first words. Of course, the more you type, the more specific it's going to be. I'll go ahead and finish typing it out, and we can see that it found 13 matches. It lets me see where it found it. It actually highlights the word or makes it bold here. And it also is highlighting the word on our screen so we can actually see it in complete context. If we pause over any of these, it gives us a little bit of information. For example, this particular one is on page 3 in the executive summary. The next one is on page 9, outside services and advisors. We actually don't have to be in this view. While our thumbnail view is disabled, we can go back to our heading view and it will highlight the headings in which that particular word is found. Another way that search has been enhanced is that search now includes graphics, footnotes, tables, even mathematical formulas and comments, as well as the regular document text. So it makes it a very powerful and useful tool. But if you aren't satisfied yet, we can access the old Find, Replace, Go To dialog window that you may be used to from the drop-down on the navigation pane. So I've used most of the tabs here. We've also used our search box, but there are a couple of things that we haven't discovered yet. Let's go ahead and take a look at what these might be. By moving up, go ahead and clear out our search, which is the X, and then click on the drop-down just to the right of the little magnifying glass. Here we can set up our options. We also can choose Advanced Find, Replace, Go To, and we also can choose whether we're looking specifically for graphics, tables, equations, footnotes, endnotes, and comments, those things that I just talked about. Let's go ahead and just take a quick look at the Replace. If you've used Word before, this should be a familiar window. This is the old window that we used to have. We have access actually to Find, Replace, and Go To. It will just open up with the tab selected depending on what you choose from that drop-down. I just wanted to mention, although we won't do it here, that it is very easy to both find and replace content using these options. For the most part, if we're looking to find something, we're better off just using the navigation pane. We don't have to come in here. But if we click on Find, we not only can choose a word to find, this particular window also allows us to select more options. For example, if we want to match case, find whole words only, use wildcards, things that sound like certain words, and even if we are so interested, we can have it choose things like formatting. Let me go ahead and move this box up just a little bit so we can see it. If we wanted to find certain formatting, we could say, for example, let's go to Font. And it's not anything particular I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is actually everything in red. So for font color, I will choose red. Haven't actually selected a word, so I'll just say OK. Notice that the font designation is here. I'm going to go ahead and press my backspace key to get rid of the word marketing. So now it's just looking for anything in red. I'll go ahead and click Find Next. If it doesn't find exactly what I'm looking for, I can just click OK. Now in this case it's telling me there is no red text in my document, but I wanted to show you that Find and even Replace isn't limited to just textual content. It also can have to do with formatting and special characters. Let's go ahead and close that one down. And since we're done with our navigation pane, we can actually close it as well. And there's a couple of ways to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and click the X on the right-hand side of the pane. That'll close it down. And I wanted to remind you that not only can we find that by going to the View tab to open it up, if we click on the Home tab over on the right-hand side, in the Editing group, we also have Find and Replace options here as well. Whether you're using the ribbon or the old dialog box or the snazzy new navigation pane, these tools actually provide options for moving through, finding, and even rearranging and replacing content in our documents. As you start working with more complex documents, these tools will become critical in your efficiency.